Oh, what an absolutely gorgeous day it is outside today. Incredible. It's just gone 9 o'clock. It's Sunday morning, June 13th, and I'm leaving town very soon, which is just so sad for me. But you know, 3 years at uni's all done now, so gotta make a move. But I thought before I went, I'd show you the amazing Leicester. I mean, it's gorgeous. I'm at the bottom of New Walk right now, about to head out on the walks. Of course, I'm gonna take you with me. Look, it's just absolutely fantastic. Look at this view. Look at the sunlight. Absolutely gorgeous. Come, let's go on a walk. Let me show you what's happening here on New Walk, because it is just absolutely stunning. I've come out on a Sunday morning just to make sure that there aren't too many people around. I'm probably going to walk past a couple of people, but I don't care. But yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. I was actually going to make this video like one day indoors, not doing anything, but I was like, nah, it's all good. Let me just do it now, just so I can, you know, show you the beautiful nature, as well as talk about the last 3 years, because it's been pretty wild actually, especially the last year with everything that's happened. And you remember back in December, I made a video about my first semester of final year and how that was a very tough term. Well, this semester was quite different in the sense that I wasn't in Leicester at all. I spent the entirety of the last semester at home in London studying online, like many other students like myself, which was obviously a challenge, but much less pressure, I think, than the first semester. A lot less stress, and actually I think it went quite well. I haven't got my results in yet, so I can't tell you how well I've done so far, but I think I did pretty good. Fingers crossed. Got that 2-1, so I can then move on to my next steps, which I'll tell you about at the end of the video. But yeah, pretty good term. Online learning, I've said before, is the best thing to come about at university, and I still stand by that, especially after the last semester. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Not having to do lectures and seminars in person was just very awkward. I think I kind of like the online element. Gives you a bit more freedom. You can manage your time better. You know, you're really able to like prioritize what work you want to do. You don't have to do things at a set time, and I just find it so much better, especially meetings with dissertation supervisors and lecturers on Microsoft Teams. I mentioned this before, but it really was game-changing for me because, frankly, you know, it's kind of awkward. You know, you go into their room, you knock on their door, you don't know what to say, but when you have an appointment time scheduled with them, it's so much better. And so I definitely preferred the online thing this semester. But obviously the downside was it was my last semester, final term ever. Couldn't really do what it is that I wanted to do. You know, having all the parties, hang out with friends. I mean, some of it obviously, you know, sometimes you go on a night out, you know, and really, you know, maybe you don't want to be every night out. So not having that pressure to go out every night was actually quite good. And especially in final year, you want to be able to make the most of, you know, all the time you have at university to try and study and knuckle down with dissertation. But I mean, I think overall it went quite well. The last semester didn't feel very overwhelmed, and a lot more positivity in the news as well, which definitely helped, because I think last semester a lot of stuff went wrong in the news, and at the start of the year a lot of stuff went wrong, but now it's summertime. I've got a couple of weeks left here, things have gone pretty well, weather's looking beautiful. Let me show you this view of New Walk. I've not turned this around for a while. Just look at that. This is, by the way, my favourite walk to do. As you can see, better building work over there. But I just love this walk. It's absolutely amazing. We're coming up now to the bridge. I'm not sure if it has a certain name, but we're coming up to big dual carriageway or multi-carriageway, I'm not sure what you call it. And we're also near the train line as well. So I'll show you in just a second what it looks like. But it's pretty awesome. Let's have a look. But yeah, this is what Leicester is like. Okay, let me show you this now. So, here is the main road. On this side, there we are. That's the main road right there. Gorgeous. And that takes you to the other side, right here. And you can see right over there in the distance, that's Leicester train station right there. That's the train station. And you can see cars flowing like crazy on this Sunday morning, which is just beautiful. I absolutely love it. And then look at the trees and the green as well. Look at that. It is so beautiful. I am really gonna miss it here once I leave in a couple of weeks. So, you know, I've got to get it all on tape. For the memories, it's wonderful. Next steps. So, yes, I think about 6 months ago, at the start of the year, I made a video which was about my goals for 2021. One of the goals was to get myself a wonderful graduate job once I finished my degree. Now, that didn't necessarily fail. I didn't fail to get a job. In fact, I've come quite close to getting a job, but I decided instead of doing a grad job, I decided to do a master's. So I will be studying broadcast journalism from September back in London, which is going to be really good. So I'll be living at home, and I'm very excited to start this new chapter. As you can see, I do love creating content. I'm obsessed with the news. I watch the news all the time, sometimes a bit too obsessive. Like I could watch, you know, BBC, Sky, CNN for hours. And I'm really interested. I've talked to a lot about myself over the last few months, about my degree and about the struggles of studying online during a pandemic. But now I think it's time to begin telling the stories of other people. What are other people thinking? What are the stories that are shaping other people's lives in 2021, especially now post-pandemic? What are the things that are on people's minds? And so with this new broadcast journalism course, I'll be able to look into that a bit more. I'll be able to hear about other people's stories and, of course, learn how to be an effective broadcast journalist. Filming, shooting, presenting, which I've got quite a bit of experience of already, having done this for a while, having done my podcast for a while. So I'm very excited to be able to do that side of things full time, whilst also learning how to be a proper, effective journalist. And so it's something that I've always thought about doing. I sort of put it on the back burner a little bit. I wanted to try and prioritize other things first, but I think now is the right time. Having got the politics stuff out of the way, it's a good baseline for me. I can now take that into my masters and really push ahead with it and hopefully make the best of it. So possibly I may be seeing you on a TV screen near you one day. Fingers crossed. Hopefully that works out, because if it does, it'll be pretty cool. Being a newsman, I'm actually very excited to get started, and I'll be doing my degree at City University in London, which is, I believe, one of the top universities. Well, I don't believe, I know it's actually one of the top universities for journalism in the UK. So it's got to be done. Got to learn from the best, and I am very excited to get started from late September. So now I've just got to figure out what to do this summer, and I still don't have anything firmly planned for the summer yet. I'm thinking about it. Don't know what I'm going to do precisely, but we'll see what happens. Trying to look for some internships. Haven't got anything concrete, but of course I'll let you know if anything changes. But I think other than that, it's mostly just going to be about trying to get out a bit more, hopefully traveling. I've decided not to travel abroad this year because of all of the travel restrictions and the traffic light system and all that kerfuffle, but I'm hoping to travel within the UK. I think that would be really cool. I think visiting some different parts of the country that I've not been to before could be quite nice. So that's something I'm considering doing as well. So hopefully that works. Oh, and the other thing to update you on, I did a video on vaccinations earlier this year, and there was some worrying polling earlier in the year. 72% of black people at the start of the year said that they weren't going to take a vaccination for COVID, which was obviously quite worrying. And it's good that those numbers have now come down. Now that we're in June, I think something like 70% of the population have now got one dose, and half of the population, half the adult population, have 2 doses, which is really good. I am fortunate enough to have had 1 dose. I got the Pfizer about 3 weeks ago. Managed to get a walk-in appointment, which was perfect. So I'm feeling pretty good. Need that 2nd dose. But overall, with 1 dose, I've got quite a lot of protection. And so I am quite thrilled with that. So this summer I'm going to try and get out a bit more than last time. Still being careful, of course, but you know, things are on the up. I'm very, very happy with how things have gone. And I think it's only going to be onwards and upwards from here on in. Now let me show you the rest of Leicester. So now we are approaching London Road. I mean, come on, can we just appreciate the beauty of the sky? The sky and the green, the trees, the nature. So here is London Road. This is now the big junction. And we're going to do a U-turn right here. Here is the all famous Domino's, which everyone goes to after a night out, or used to go to after a night out in normal times. Hopefully we'll be doing that soon as well. There's London Road. Love to see it. Sainsbury's, Loaded Dog, which was actually one of the first places I went to as an undergrad was Loaded Dog with the Radio Society all the way back in 2018, which was crazy. Oh, and Boo Burger is absolutely amazing as well. So that is London Road, and all these new cycle lanes right here, these are all brand new for the city centre, which is just so awesome. I really need to try and cycle before I leave. That would be ideal. So here we are, we're walking down, and essentially we're just going to do a U-turn, and we're going to head back down along New Walk. So overall, do I regret going to university, or do I think it was the best thing ever? I think it was the best thing at the right time. I think it was good that I went. I know people will say, oh, look at all the debt you're going to accrue and all that stuff, but to be honest with you, there are skills that you learn at university, such as critical thinking. That's the key thing for me, critical thinking skills. I mean, I think those things are priceless. I don't think you could put a price tag on critical thinking skills, especially in the climate we're in right now. It's absolutely vital that, you know, in an age of disinformation and fake news, especially as a politics person, you've got to be able to understand what it is that is happening in the world and make sure that you're not getting lied to 24/7, because that's what's happening in the world of politics these days. Now I'm going to be a journalist. It's going to be even more important that I tackle fake news and misinformation and a lot of crap that comes around in the news and from politicians. So I think 27 grand of debt to be able to have better critical thinking skills, I think is worth it. And actually the experience of university in the first couple of years, I think that was also worth the money too. I've heard there are plans by some universities in the next academic year to charge full fees, £9,250 for blended learning in September. So there'll be some online learning as well as some in-person teaching. Now, I will say this. I personally like the online learning stuff. I preferred it to the in-person seminars, which, I mean, I personally think they were completely pointless. The in-person stuff, you could do it online. I know it was like one massive FaceTime call or whatever, one Zoom call or whatever, but I preferred it. But I don't think in the autumn it can be justified to start charging students the same amount of money as a pre-COVID degree, but with blended learning. Like, have the online learning stuff. If it works well, if students like it, sure, include it with the package. Have online learning, have blended learning, whatever you want to do. Just don't charge 9.25k for it, right? Simple as that. You can't do that. That's crazy. Like, you know, the £9,250 fee was for an in-person experience, right? So many universities in America are saying, we're going to have full in-person teaching, but you must be fully vaccinated. And they're going to require proof of vaccination before going to campus. And I would say, why not do exactly the same thing in the UK? Why not have mandatory vaccination, or really strongly encourage vaccination for students in the UK so they can get the proper experience? If you want to charge us higher fees, right? I'd say yes, have online learning, have blended learning, but after the pandemic, you cannot expect students to go along with that. £9,000 for a blended learning degree post-pandemic, that's outrageous. I mean, that's absolutely crazy. So I don't think that's a smart thing for universities to do. And I think they should really consider making, you know, if they have to make vaccination mandatory like they're doing in the US with some limited exemptions, I'd say go for it. But you can't have it both ways and say we're post-pandemic, but we're still going to have online learning and charge full fees. That's absolutely outrageous. That should not be a policy at all. It needs to be, well, lower the fees down. I think the government's actually working on a proposal to lower tuition fees and at the same time increase the repayment threshold so that more students actually pay back the loan. So there are plans in motion for this, but it would be outrageous for unis to charge the full fee and have an online experience. They need to lower the fees. Make it 7k, 7.5k, that's the number I've heard on the media. 7.5k could be the new fee for degrees every year. No problem, have a blended experience. But don't think about trying to charge 9k for a blended experience post-pandemic. I think the target is 31st of July for a first dose, which means by Halloween, every adult will have 2 doses, and I'm sure the government will beat that target easily. So there is zero excuse for universities to try and play that game. I know they're strapped for cash, it's tough times, but students aren't going to play along with that if you try and mess with them any more than you already have. And, you know, students are at the end of their tether. Strike action's been going along for quite a while. You know, my second year was actually disrupted by strike action a lot. So really, I only had one proper year of uni. So, you know, if you think about the first years that are starting, the first years that started last year would have had a torrid time. They're not going to be playing along with those kind of games. So I would strongly suggest that the unis get their act together and lower those fees. If you're going to have blended learning, you can have it, have blended learning, lower the fees. That's all I'll say. Thank you for attending my TED Talk. We're back at the bridge. Right there, beautiful sun. Absolutely gorgeous. But yes, overall, times are looking good at the moment. My degree's all done. I've got my future plans sorted and the summer's looking great. So hopefully I can now make the most of the summer coming up and get myself ready for my master's in September. But in the meantime, I'll have more content coming your way, including my university room tours from both my first year and second and final year, which is going to be fantastic. 2 room tours are coming your way, 2019 and 2021. And hopefully some more content about my master's down the line. And yeah, just overall good stuff coming your way. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next video.